Hello and welcome to the Quever channel. I'm Jason, your host. It's always amusing to me when I interact with people who are, how can I put it, very much binary thinkers and simps to certain situations, like all the people following the Palestinian cause without actually reading up and finding the truth of things. And when you disagree with them, when you provide them with facts, it's all, that's Zionist propaganda. Oh, God. I couldn't make this up, Zionist propaganda. It sounds so pathetic. It is. Absolutely pathetic. It's crazy. Pardon me. These people live in such a binary, how can I put it, deluded state. They believe in the message that they've been fed through Facebook, through their user groups, through their echo chambers and their yes men and yes women in there, that they have no trouble doing extremist things, but expect to be seen as champions. Sorry, this isn't Filmland. This isn't Hollywood. Being the rebel type thing fucks things up sometimes. If you're going to fight for a cause, make sure you've actually researched it. I mean, really researched it outside of your little close-knit community where you've actually looked at the actual data, the actual individual reports. Where they see, oh my God, Israel is bombing a hospital. If you read reports, it's like, well, Hamas has actually proved time and time again that it will put rocket launchers on hospitals, that it will put weapons caches and command and control inside hospitals. So, if Israel says, okay, we're not going to attack that, then that just reinforces Hamas in doing those things more and more. Hamas will learn one day that Israel will fight them wherever they fucking cower, even if they hide in a fucking primary school behind children. They need to have that thing. They need that to know that they could do. This isn't Israel's fault. This is fucking Palestinians' fault and Hamas' fault for actually allowing their people to do this, to putting themselves in that situation. I'm sorry. They've got to take some responsibility for what's going on in their own fucking country. But it's the most hilarious thing that was told to me yesterday was you don't like people with brown skin. At that point, I just blocked them. It was like I am the least racist person fucking in the world, probably. I don't judge anybody based on gender, ethnicity, religion, or where they live. I judge on action, on how they act. I judge them on the data. I judge them on the respect they give to other people. That's how I judge them. And it's funny, I've been talking to a friend in America. And wonderful, intelligent person, just happens to be black. Proud of her ethnicity, proud of who she is. Wonderful person. But there's a reason that she made her life better and moved out of the places they're in. And she will tell you yours herself. The chip that black people can have on their shoulders. This doesn't make me racist. It doesn't make her racist. It's just a fact that some people have a chip on their shoulder, and while the Black Lives Matter came from a good idea, it allowed a lot of extremist stuff to get in there. Why should I fucking apologize for something one of my ancestors did 100 years, 200 years ago? Should I not be judged by how I treat people like that? One of the wonderful things about meeting people online, in games, in Discord, in VRchat, is you get to know them without having to deal with all the social connotations. I've met people online and that from Russia, from France, from America, yes, Pakistan, from Iran. I've met people online from Kuwait and Syria. Just normal people, absolutely normal people. So it's very hilarious to me when people try, just because I don't agree with them and don't support a radical movement, a terrorist organization, and things like that, just because I look at the facts, that they pull out the, oh, you must be a racist card. Ah, it's really pathetic. I mean, the and I'd like to come back to that. One of the problems with the Black Lives Matter is not the core belief of that all lives matter. Black Lives Matter. It's very much took on the same connotation of what the feminists were coming out with, the women's rights matter and women's abuse matter. Shouldn't it be any abuse? Now I know that women get abused more, but for example in the UK there's a situation now where they brought in a new rule about domestic violence and that. But as far as from what I understand of the actual situation, the wording of the form is very much biased towards the victim being a female. And this is what I've always said. I've said men get abused and they don't report it because social commentary, their entire lives have taught them that that doesn't happen. I myself was abused twice, two separate situations in my life. Once when I was about 16 and once when I was 19. But I was, both times, it was a male that did it, which made it even worse. Shouldn't have made it worse, but it did make it worse. It made it worse because my brain could not compute it, could not understand it. The data didn't fit. This wasn't what people, films, media, all that. Women get harassed, women get bothered and that. Men don't get harassed, and it's definitely don't get harassed by, this was a totally, completely out there thing. The first time I was up at a local park on my own because autism and wanting to be on my own, and I was just mapping an area, and I had my Swiss Army knife with me, and had a piece of wood with me, and I was just turning it into a bit of a stave, a bit of a walking stick type thing. It was a lovely piece of wood. And this old guy came up to me. Looked perfectly normal, perfectly nice, acted perfectly fine. I remember I think I was just 16 at the time, and I'm just doing that. He's saying, "Oh, that knife's nice and that," and he just showed interest in what I was doing. And then he tried to stick his hand down my pants. Yeah, I never told anybody that at the time because does not compute. I just froze. He walked away when some other people were walking past. He noticed other people going, "Oh, well, does not compute." My brain just said, "This doesn't happen." So it's that same kind of dichotomy. If we try to bend too far in one direction, it's a bad thing. And the Black Lives Matters movement did a lot of good, but it also gave black people one hell of a fucking excuse to push the narrative and to basically make all police out to be evil, when a lot of them are in the job to actually protect and serve. In fact, most of the police I've ever met have been in that job to protect and serve. I know there is bad people out there. I'm not naive to that. And I know women get sexually harassed more than men. But how many men that get harassed do what I did and never report it, never go to the police, never mention it because it just doesn't have the same acceptance. And that's kind of sucky. You'll never see the real numbers for males being sexually harassed. And so all this kind of thing turns back to this idea of if you blindly believe in any cause and don't look at the data, you don't look at the numbers, and if you discount any data that doesn't fit with your narrative and say, "Oh, that's Zionist bullshit," then you are blinding yourself. Whether you're a feminist, whether you're the Black Lives Matter, whether you're um, following and supporting the Palestinians, whether you're doing any of these things, if you don't critical think, if you don't look outside the box, if you don't search the data, then your whole situation is flawed. Well, that went in a bit of a different direction, didn't it? But this is where I am. Remember, these vlogs I do are not just for you. In fact, most of them it's just treatment for me to get things out. But that. In fact, that reminds me I've got to write an email. An email. So I will say bye-bye.